In our stores here at Keep, we have a really staggeringly large number of objects which are, they're not surplus to the collection, they're part of the collection, they're just not on display anymore. And in some ways it's like a gigantic toy box. You're never quite sure exactly what you're going to find in there. A couple of weeks ago I came across something that I certainly wasn't expecting to find at all. It's this object, this peculiar little contraption. Now the label on the front says this is a bomb release from the Zeppelin L85, Salonika, May 1915. And that's exactly what it is. It is a souvenir of a shot down Zeppelin. The L85 was attempting to bomb shipping in Salonika harbour, but she reckoned without the presence of HMS Agamemnon. Agamemnon had an anti-aircraft gun that managed to shoot the Zeppelin down. Now the crew on this occasion were extremely lucky because she came down intact in some marshes and they were able to evacuate the craft. They set it alight and attempted to escape. They were picked up afterwards. But the massive skeleton of this airship, and these things were hundreds of feet long, was sat there in the marshes. It was an object of interest to military intelligence, so the French army posted a guard around it. But what they hadn't reckoned with is the presence of hundreds of British troops, including soldiers from the Devons. They were all hell-bent on taking souvenirs. And the wreck was pretty well stripped, much to the disgust of the French. This would have come back at that time. And as I said, this is a bomb release from a Zeppelin. Now it's mounted on a stand. This is nothing to do with it. The actual bomb release is this bit in the middle, this bit here. And it's quite sophisticated. If you look at it, it's got two little coils. It's an electrical bomb release. And I think the way it's operating, it's not entirely complete, so it's a little bit of supposition here, is the coils generate an electric current, turns it into an electromagnet, and what it does is to trigger the drop of a bar, which then allows the bomb to drop like that, because these jaws open and the bomb falls away. So it's a really unusual little souvenir. It's not the only souvenir we've got. We have other little bits and pieces, and we have got this little object here, and this is a souvenir of a very, very famous incident. And this is a little bit of wire, it's only an inch or so long, but this is a fragment of the Zeppelin that was shot down at Cuffley in Hertfordshire in September 1916. Shot down by Lieutenant Leif Robinson, who was awarded the Victoria Cross for his gallant act. This little souvenir, this little piece of wire, you paid £1, you could buy one of these, and the money went to the Red Cross for the relief of wounded soldiers. So again, another little bit of Zeppelin. The question really here is sort of, the Zeppelin, it's an unusual phenomenon. I mean, we've all seen these things. We all know what they're like, these colossal airships. And these days they're seen as a bit of a joke. I mean, they appear in cartoons and things like that. But back then, of course, there was very much a serious side to them. The German Air Service set out to use these craft to bomb London. And this is something that had never really been done before. And this is an echo, really, of things to come, where suddenly the civilian population is in the front line. Because we have these monsters roaming about the skies at night, dropping bombs at random on our towns and cities. And Zeppelins could go a long, long way. They carried ample reserves of fuel, and they could roam pretty well over the entire country. So you get Zeppelins all over northern England, the Midlands. The things could go just about anywhere they chose to. And shooting them down was very, very difficult indeed. To begin with, you've got to locate the thing at night, which is not easy. And then they found that you could actually pour machine gun bullets into it from a fighter plane, and a lot of those rounds would just go straight through, release a little bit of gas, and the Zeppelin would just glide on. The advantage that Lieutenant Leif Robinson had at Cuffley is incendiary ammunition. this stuff called Buckingham. These were incendiary rounds, they were phosphorus rounds, and they caused the Zeppelin to catch fire. And down it came. The outlook for the crew on those occasions was not good. The odds on surviving a flaming Zeppelin were just about zero. There are other little mementos. There was something of a trade in producing postcards, and we have one here which was produced. It's an official photograph, and it shows a Zeppelin, a raider, coned by searchlights. This was produced in 1916, and there is a message on the back written in pencil. It said to somebody called Flo. Flo, fancy you seeing this. You would have had a fit, wouldn't you? I haven't seen one since Easter. Soon will though. I suspect they pay us a flying visit now and again. So the British public is actually capable, even in these circumstances, of extracting humour from Zeppelins. And we have another example here, and this is what appears to be a concert party. Smart group of gentlemen dressed up as Pierrots, very popular at the time, and they are in front of a backdrop which shows a London skyline and searchlights, and they have called their troupe the Zeps. So Zeppelins during the First World War really did capture public imagination, and they weren't just used to bomb cities. We had airships used for a variety of different purposes. You went down to the Western Front. There were balloons, observation balloons, tethered in strategic points for use by artillery spotters. Down on the Somme there's a place called Sausage Valley. It's called Sausage Valley because at the head of it a German sausage-shaped artillery observation balloon was seen tethered. And one of our own men, probably our most famous diarist, Sergeant Major Ernest Shepherd, up at Hill 60 near Ypres in 1915, records seeing Zeppelins. It was a clear evening, Easter time, the sun was going down, and they were able to see the dying rays of the sun reflecting off Zeppelins. A whole line of them appeared to be heading out over the North Sea. They couldn't understand what these things are up to, but the following day they heard some of the first raids on London and realised what they'd actually witnessed.